conversation with persons contributing significantly to Anguilla's Carnival and Summer Festival. As we build up to the anniversary of Carnival, we will be conversating to many individuals and groups who have made their mark. I am Roy Carter in for Jared Dice, and he is
Javon Brooks.
Together we bring you this bi-weekly Carnival conversation. This conversation is powered by Changes Restaurant and Bar South Valley. We will be speaking this evening boat racing, our national sport. With us, we have the legends and stalwart of an amazing sport, Messrs. Harris, Mr. Cool Richardson, a boat and owner curator, Ralph Hodge, an active commentator, and Mr. Paul Romney, chairperson of Anguilla Boat Racing Committee. Farmer, that is.
And boat owner.
Farmer, everything farmer.
Everything's
Boat
farmer?
racing.
Yeah, but we still got it from our blood.
Okay, still got in blood. Okay, welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. Can you remember?
Welcome, gentlemen, to Can You Remember?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So the name of this program is Can You Remember? And so the first question,
Mr. Cool, your involvement in boat racing spans many decades. Tell us how it all started for you.
How it started for me.
what can you remember?
I can remember when I was about 11 years old. I had to pick a lot of wood, bring a lot of water to go to West End to see the first boat racing.
What year you think is that? If you can remember.
That was in the 50s. That was in the 50s, like 55, 56. Then I went to West End, so had to produce. And from that, I saw the first boat racing. I got caught up in it. And after a certain age, grew up here. I would say kids when I came back, I was in the valley. And everyone told me how my father and his brother was involved in smuggling, and they had this boat called Block. The older folks in those days would always tell me about the stories of how things have happened and how they did the smuggling. I wouldn't call it smuggling, but making a good use of it. So I got really enthused into that, and I said, okay, when I grew up, I got to think about getting a boat for the valley. So after being around for a while, I say, it's time now that I get involved into the boat. So I want to say, kids, when I look at the building of a boat and a guy in 1976, I went to this guy and told me, yes, I can build your boat. The boat cost you this, cost you that. I said, okay, now let's get started in building the boat. That time, you ain't got much sense about what's, and the money never come about. So, I've been into air conditioning from a very young age. So I figure I never used to spend the money that I worked for.
Can you talk a little harder, please?
I never used to spend the money that I worked for. I used to take that money and put it in the bank. But the money that I worked for on refrigerators and stuff like that, I would save that and do what I got to do with it. Mm-hmm. So I decided I would go and build a boat. There was one morning in particular that I can remember going on a job, and I met a gentleman by the name of Hodge. He's Rudolph's Hodge father. I met him on Main Street and he stopped me and said, son, if you're going to get a boat, I can tell you what to do. So he started to talk. We talk every morning. And his son, at the time, he said, well, he wanted to get a boat for West End because there was the Enlightened Peace was a bit dormant at the time. And I said, well, both of us can go to St. Kitts this guy and to get involved in building a boat. So I decided to go to St. Kitts. A while that I was negotiating with the band and building the boat, I got the call that Gordon has passed away in a plane crash. Oh gosh, that was demoralizing, heartbreaking, everything. So I hurried up to my negotiations and came back home. And from that, I decided to build this boat in 1977 now. The guy said, okay, the boat is finished, come to your boat and stuff like that. So I went to St. Kitts, picked up the boat and brought it down. So I put the first captain ahead, it was Julia Carter. Well, Julia and his brother decided that they got to modify the boat and put on the sides and stuff like that. He and Roland Hodge and did everything. And from then, I had the boat, and named the boat Dishan. Now, the reason was, everybody can ask me the same question, why I call it Dishan? My daughter named Shanisa. And saying the Shan, I said Dishan. So that's from 1977.
You started
Yeah, I got started into it physically. Yeah.
good, very good testimony. Mr. Hodge, can you tell us how did you become involved in boat racing?
Well, like Mr. Cool fellas, it's a very long story.
Can you talk a little harder, please?
Oh, I have a very soft voice, so I'm trying to accommodate you. This has plagued me throughout my life, not being able to talk as loud as I should. But I became involved in boat racing under the age of 10. And to explain that, is a little boy going to Crocus Bay. I would watch the Carters, the Lloyds, and the other guys from the valley coming from fishing, racing boat to the shore. Then, after following my life path, I run into the field of journalism. And while getting learned in that area, I had the fortune to find the guys Crocus Bay coming up with an idea that nobody could believe would have happened around the island boat race. They weren't calling it around the island as such then. Mr. Cool probably would remember, because a lot of the negotiations took place between the bay and his house. And from the time that started, I was involved in that's in the 1980, just at the start of around 1982. Mr. Cool is correct, and I was involved with Radio Angola for many years. And so from the very first time it was carried in Radio Angola, I've had the fortune now of being around the island probably more than anybody else, nearly 40 times. I missed it probably on 3 occasions. After a time, I teamed up from Radio Angola out to another radio station with Raspy and Wande, Mr. Cool, Wycliffe, and a whole bunch of them. And my love for telling a story kept me very close to boat racing. I would always hear Mr. Cool talk about the intricacies of boat racing, and I would listen. And I developed some very strong ideas regarding boat racing. And as we go along with this program, probably I'm going to be sharing with us, able to share. And certainly, knowing Harris quite well and meeting him with my university pal Alistair, staying by him, we became buddies. And like my ancestry, his ancestry came from Crocus Bay, so there was a common bond. And while we didn't have boats at Crocus Bay, we always had the interest in Crocus Bay. It's one of the things I'm very worried about, that maybe I wouldn't want Mr. Cool and myself to go out of this world without bringing some active boat racing back into Crocus Bay. We have people at Crocus Bay who talk boat racing, but who do not do anything to support the sport. And certainly, I think boat racing, being the national sport, all of us, those around this table, those in Angola who follow it, must take it to another level. Boat racing has existed, it's gone along the way our forefathers did it, but we, I think, have a great potential in taking boat racing to the next level. And as we go along, we will hear more about my thoughts on boat racing as the national sport.
Thank you. Mr. Romney,
Yes, sir. Good
how
afternoon.
did you get involved in boat racing, and tell us what was your tenure as chairman of the boat racing committee like?
Okay, wow.
Two-part
Well,
question.
yeah, two-part question. In the early 90s, young boy, you grow up, you go to the beach, you see these guys standing up, Harris come down with his gun, you know. That's the one that gun shot me knew back then. So you see the guys set up, and of course you get a little inquisitive, you jump on the boat. It's kind of light, it's a bit. So I ran on. David Hodge in South Lake, I don't know if you remember David Hodge, he constructed several boats, so you got with him. Lewis was in 95, that wasn't good. So we construct another boat, and it all started out from there. But what drove me most was to be on the bayside, hearing the older folks telling you that the Sacagaway is gonna cross this one, and this one is a decision, and you look in this horizon, everything is white or dark. How the hell they knew? But they were right at the end of the day. So, you know, that led to me owning a boat. And sometimes in the 2005, 6 maybe I'm wrong, I got involved in the chairmanship with Calvert Carty. I was vice, then I went on to be chairman for a couple of years. And I think I gave it up sometime around 2015. But the sport, it's a very interesting sport. And I think it's something that the younger generation needs to understand from the older folks. Like I said, I saw Harris on the bay with a gun. Couldn't understand why he had the gun. But now as you grow older, you can put the pieces together. And somewhere along the line, we need to get it going backward to educate the new ones today. So that's my take on it. And as you gentlemen speak, as we go along, we can give you some more insight. That's the
Very good, very
different
good,
views.
very knowledgeable, very hence lots of information from you guys. I'm sure we'll continue to hear it here. Mr. Cool, boat racing in Anguilla started many years ago. Can you give us a backdrop as in how it all started, if you could remember?
I listened to the most of the older folks, and remember that all forefathers had to go to San Domingo and those islands to cut cane, and they had to go to Santo Domingo on sailing boats. So there were two sailing boats that was always having rifles and take these people down to Santo Domingo. And so they used to race going to Santo Domingo and coming back from Santo Domingo. And at least, going to Santo Domingo would take about 2 weeks. Coming back, it would take 3.
Do you know any of them boats used to do that journey?
The what?
Any of them boats that used to do the journey?
Wasp fight, I think. The wasp fight wasn't one?
No, it wasn't.
Ebenezer?
I should remember the name.
I know from time to time listening to boat race, I often hear
No,
Mr. Carty saying, talking something of the same story, Mr. David Carty. I hope that one day we'll get him to tell us if the names. But just of it is that those two boats is a race.
Race. One of the boats is somewhere in Albert was owned by the Hodges, by Walter Hodge and them. I know, and I think that was one of them that used to go. Now I forget the name of it, but they had a boat that used to go. But anyhow, they used to go, and it was competition going down and competition coming up, and so the fishermen now realized that was coming very active. So they used to go out to fish, and they had a sailboat. There's no oars, there was no motors or engines, nothing at all. So they used to then go put the sails up, go to fish, and to doing the smuggling. So whichever boat is faster,
Right.
they'll get in contact with that. So much stories been told about that is because I remember these guys tell me, boy, the father had his boat called the Lock, and his brother used to go to St. Martin, get the rum and go and hide it in the reef, and then come back, and by the time the police come, by the time they come ashore, they're empty. I mean, it's been told so many times by Ellick and all those older folks, and I mean, it really gets you when you get into that. But I remember too that the organized part of boat racing actually started around in the 1945 or so with Owens, and I can remember them saying that if you observe, there are 2 days that is very special during the racing week: August Monday and August Thursday. August Monday was for Sandy Ground. That is where the Owens and the used to dump. Then they used to go again on the Thursday to West End. When you hear you're going West End, pardon, you're going West End to see boat race. That's what I tell you. I kept my fuss. I can't bring my water, my wood, pick my wood, do everything just to see that boat racing. And it was always a crowd. And I can remember that at the time I lived in the East End, and the Flemings had a truck that I'd get a ride to on a truck. And when you get a ride in a truck, listen guys, I am almost twice your age there, but let me tell you something. I'm telling you, when you get a ride on a truck, you feel as though you're heavy.
And a plane.
Yes,
and a
man.
plane.
Yes.
That what we call a plane ride today.
At time we had much vehicles in Angola.
No, not much vehicles. But so on August Monday was Sandy Ground. That's usually why it's so great. And August Thursday was West End. And that's the way the rivalry comes. But listen, when they're racing boats, there's something called stem-to-stem races. And what they used to do is, they say, your boat will come from in the reef, I'm going to challenge you for tomorrow. They're going to kill a goat, you used to have a lot of goats.
Yeah.
A lot of animals. They'll kill a goat, put on a pot of goat soup and a Chimajana rum. And they used to go to race for that in those days. And I mean, I could have seen the amount of people around gathering just to see these races.
Excitement.
And, oh man, excitement to death. But in all, boat racing excitement is arguments. They can argue, and it's something that bonds people together.
Right.
You know, it bonds a lot of people together. And when you listen to it and see it, you'll understand really the integral parts. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Mr. Hodge, to your mind, what makes boat racing excited and thrilling?
Well, like Mr. Cool was heading towards it.
That,
as far as my belief is concerned, boat racing is the tradition of Anguilla, gossip. You are going to hear something over and over. 6 of us looking at one boat, but that one boat is 6 different boats, depending on which boat that you are supporting. You hear it very common when you go to the Island Harbour community. You know, I could never forget one day I was on the backside of Anguilla, Birmingham area, trying to follow the race up that way. And a guy from Island Harbour rushed past me and said, "You see the boat?" And I'm really looking for a boat. But you know what he's talking about? UFO. So that's the kind of excitement you look for. People go to boat racing in Anguilla not knowing what they're going to look for. They're going to boat racing, and they put on their best wares or the skimpiest wares just for boat racing. And I'm a bit worried that we have not involved more women and more children in. But my story this afternoon comes out of something I've learned very recently. A little guy who told me he belongs to Dr. Gumbs from Sandy Ground went to Captain Eddie and said, I want to go out on the boat. And
that's
Um,
no,
and Edward's grandson.
he's not going. So if you go to your mother, she say yes, then you will get to go. You went back to them, couldn't convince them, start crying. He said, okay, did your mother really say that? She said, yes. The guy went out to sea with the Sonic. When they were coming back up and coming through the stake, he was actually steering the boat.
We are still alive.
When the boat reached past the stake, the guy walked down the gunnel and do a master backflip. He wants to be a sailor. He's only 6 years old.
6 years.
So I think we have to find a way, as Paul was saying, to involve our young people in boat racing. But if we don't involve them, the sport will eventually die.
That is true.
That is so true. Mr. Romney,
Yes, sir.
what are some of the most challenging experiences over the years you've encountered
Whoa.
as chairmanship?
As chairman, why? First, the sport is a very, very expensive
Water.
sport, right? Very.
Very expensive.
As Mr. Cooley from 45 to now, I don't think he managed to save 1 cent, and he can be proud of it. He probably got trophies, but he have to clean them too, so that comes with a cost. But the craft of the board is a very expensive hobby, and you only do it for the fun of doing it. But to say that you do it for financial gain, it ain't gonna add up. I don't care who mathematician you are. And if you look at the boats you got, for instance, the UFO. Religiously, the UFO pulls all the way down to Santa Ground every time there's a boat race. Follow the boat race and automatically goes back to Island Harbor. Comes with a cost. Now, who absorb that cost? Captain and crew owners. That's it. You lose, you got on the negative side.
Okay.
So the challenging was always to find funding for the boats and to make it work. Now, what bothers me most is to know that it's our national sport, and from the government standpoint, I don't think we get that recognition, and we don't get that financial hardship, that push from it. It's a very hard. I'll have to come to you, change this bar. Can you sponsor me a case of water? Can you sponsor half of first prize? Well, things are tough, you can't, but the race has to go on. Because, for instance, Anguilla Day is coming up on the 30th, and that's like the Super Bowl for Anguillians. You're going to find where every Wrangler, every Jeep, every truck, people on bicycles walking, and they're going to go around the island all day long. And you congregate at Santa Ground, and all hell is going to break loose as to who should have gone back from the reef in Shoal Bay, who didn't go to that reef, or who didn't do, if didn't full up, I would have won. It's going to be, you know.
Okay, but coming off a point from Mr. Cool, as into the sport, where the sport sound like it came from a jollification
Right.
to a very expensive venture, that what you're saying. So I'm gonna ask both of you to kind of clarify how did it get from
that
something
to
that
this?
is jollification wise to now expensive thing. So what take place between there to make it that now?
Well, from my experience and from in the 90s, the cost of the materials changed. I think they probably used to. I remember Egbert with the ads all day up there, sold his chopping, and I think it was whether white cedar. I don't think it was marine plywood. White cedar? Okay, good. Marine plywood today, a sheet of marine 3/4 runs you at $300-$400, and you need several sheets. The resin is one thing. You got the balloons, you got the fibers, you got the whole 9 yards, the cloth, the glue. The labor is another cost. I mean, if you can manage to build it yourself, lucky you. But chances are, you have to pay someone. The sales. Now, a jib can run your 4,000, a sail 5. So technically, in 2 pieces, you up to 9,000-10,000. That's just in sales. There's no mast, there's no boom, there's no shekels. There's no travel bars, there's no blocks, there's no wrenches, there's nothing else. And when you add it up, it's very expensive.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that the structure of making the boats change significantly
over the years.
Is that so?
Of course,
Yeah, it is.
of course. Because I remember when I first built the Shan, I was when I was repairing it, I went with Egbert out to Bremergen, and we got some cedar and cut them, and he molded them and did some work on the Shan by doing that. But today it's marine ply, and like, I mean, he had the experience because he had a boat, and what he said is correct. A jib today costs between $4,000 to $5,000. A sail costs between $5,000 and $8,000. All right, US.
US.
I'm talking US dollars. I'm talking about, and they're not talking about a mass rate. A rig,
which is very good. But can you clarify, like back in the day, what was the jib? What they used to use as a jib then?
Well, when I first started the shed, I'll talk from first start the shed, there was just a Dacron thing, and whatever you do for Dacron, you do sailor Dacron, and you go ahead like that. But today
they change it.
The jib now is a
Kevlar.
nylon.
Canvas type.
No, it's not canvas.
Kevlar, it's a carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I mean, it's very expensive, and not only that. In those days too, we used to use rope
To high
for your shrouds, rope to do your mast, rope for everything. But now, those things now is
like cable.
Cables.
Something,
cables.
right?
Yeah, the cable, and the foot of that cable costs anything like about $5-6 a foot.
So pretty much what you're saying is that they modernize the equipment to also over the years. The equipment itself get modernized like everything else is why the expense
Exactly.
came in.
And I want to touch on a thing that Paul said just now, that he don't think that it's a national sport, but I would think it get the real input to me as a national sport. My concern is that I go back to years of Ronald Webster. He was into boat racing. I'm talking. No, I don't. This is not being political. Let's take that out of the thing. He was into boat racing, and he used to make sure that when you see a race coming up in August, he used to go and send letters out to his people, get sponsorship, and get money to carry on the races. Don't talk about Emil. Emil comes. I mean, from February, he writing letters to all the people on the island, asking for money to carry on the sport. So there was, and he had Frankie Connor backing him with everything.
Right.
Now, I was helping Frankie Connor during those days. When Frankie Connor retired, then I took the mantle in 1984.
So Frank, what was Frank O'Connor's position? Was he a part of?
No,
was he Parliament?
He was the financial secretary.
Okay.
But he was into boat racing.
Right.
So Emil used to use him as one.
the liaison.
And I mean, you come back from that. After that was after Emil was Osmond Fleming. Osmond Fleming had people into there taking care of the boat racing itself, you know. And you look at Victor Banks, Mr. Hughes. Hughes called me, and I mean, you know, Honorable Mr. Hughes. He said, Harris, I want to make boat racing a part of tourism, and I was reluctant. He said, listen, understand this. I got Alan Gums and I got John Benjamin, and they too into this.
Tourism.
So let me work with him for me. And I agreed.
Right.
And that is where I was into tourism. He was always spot. Mr. Hughes was spot on in making sure that the financing of the sport was there. And this was the people to understand. Then you got, after that was Victor Banks. I never had to be into it that much because Victor Banks had a cardigan there doing a cardigan corner doing the thing there. But and I mean right now, I mean it's sad to say, I have not seen anybody instrumental right now at Thailand. And not only that, I also realize this is 50 years anniversary for
Carnival.
Yeah, I think we got some questions here.
And we'll have 50 years gone, and during that 50 years, you know what happened? Cardigan Carnival, that was under your presidency, I think.
Yeah.
Cardigan, they lobbied for $50,000 first prize. $50,000 first prize. I mean, and then they went back to the 10,000. I mean, you think
it was like up and down. It was like
No, I'm saying is $10,000 from then. That Paul was there, and Paul was there, like he told you that. Up to now it's the same damn 10,000, and he told you how much a sale costs, how much it costs, and that does get me pissed because if you don't have people behind you to sponsor this, and you got to take them. Ralph Hodge have told me over the past years of my life, boy, Harris, you put too much money into it. I rebuilt the Shan last year, and it cost me up to $30,000 US.
Wow.
And this is what Hodge said. He said, tell me, why are you crazy putting it? But when you love the sport, and you have
want to save the sport.
and you got a set of young guys
Interested.
Oh man,
Who are interested.
and I'm so proud to know that I did it.
I mean,
if the children got to throw me out of the house, I got a chance, but that's where I spend the money.
I mean, it is one thing when you see youths are getting interested in sports, in such a sport, to keep them interested and keep them involved, and that's amazing.
You see, what makes me so close to me too is there was a program in Tortola that called the CATS program. That's Kids and the Sea, and in that had the 24-foot yachts racing. I'm going to get involved in 2002 under the presidency of Clement Ruan. He went to a conference in Tortola to a Rotary meeting, and he got involved. So they got him to get involved, and then he knowing me asked me to be the chairman of that thing, and we took from that time until the hurricane mashed up the boats. We were instrumental in a young guy, and today,
Some of them are,
not some,
all of them.
every one of them are captain. Listen, and I gotta say, I got to applaud the sailing school who give them the normal training here, and I want to also applaud the Rotary Club for financing them going to Tortola religiously. I mean, they find the money, send these folks, and that. When I look at those young men today, every one of them, I feel proud.
Can you identify a few?
Largest man.
A lot
Go
of
ahead,
captains.
identify a
A lot of
few.
captains here.
Not leaving out any, but as much as you can remember. Young captains.
Kadim.
For real.
We got the guy in the
Derek.
Derek. We got Sienna. Sienna. I got
There's quite a few. Yeah, don't if you know
And-
as much as you can
I mean,
remember, not leaving out
what I'm
any.
telling
you know in the past?
You know who they are.
No, the younger,
do you know
the
that?
younger guys. But what I know, a lot of them graduated out of that sailing school, and they may not turn out to be the direct captain, but they were involved in the big boats today. It's sad to see that the C class. I remember those little C class. I mean, they were like a little pond boat, but the cost wasn't as high as what you have for B and an A. But if you had a couple of those C class, I think you would have had more
excitement.
more young.
More excitement,
Because
more young people involved.
there was 5-6 guys on a boat. You sink it 1 o'clock and you race again 2 o'clock because you just take the mast out the lead
You
and
just
pop,
fly back up.
pull ashore, set her back up, and you go again. It wasn't that expensive, but for some reason, I don't think they got the attention as the B and the
Oh,
A.
they were overshadowed.
Yeah, so, but if you had a couple of those, me personally, I think it needs to start in the school and let the schools, as they grow, they will grow into the different
bigger,
class. Yeah.
And so that way you need to do.
No, I every year I used to Valley School and talk about boat racing. I had that through it was done through the guy called Mr. Mercurius. He was instrumental in getting me to come to the school, and the Central Bank. The Central Bank is here. What's it called? ECCB. They used to get me to go to the schools, and I said, talk about racing. And let me tell you something, they was hyped up. And up to today, I brought them on radio and let them, they were so enthused about it. And that is where a lot of young people got involved. My involvement in it.
Before we move on, I don't want us to skip this thing about finance. Because you made it look like a rosy picture. It's not. When Mr. Cool talked about financing in the past, you were talking about $100,000 to $125,000. Right now, for boat racing, for the prize structure during the season, you are talking $500,000, maybe closer to $1 million mark.
Right.
And I think one of the shortfalls has been the organizing of it. We expect government to come up with funds. I think what we have to do is establish an association that has the authority to raise money. You raise the money up front because boat racing is expensive. I said to Mr. Cool on a couple of occasions, I mean, you are making what I consider a financially sensible decision is because you are putting out more money than you're getting. And somehow I figure that boat racing could be funded properly if you have a proper funding organization. You involve somebody from government. Government will have to make a commitment. But what government is expected to make now is not what we used to make on Mr. Gums on the end of the past. It's because you were talking peanuts then.
Right.
Mr. Gums will go on. As a matter of fact, I had the luck of being his permanent secretary for 3.5 years. And by the 4th month of the year, we would have had all the money for prizes collected.
That's right.
But now, that money is peanuts. You have to come up with a better structure. I think what is going to be very interesting to see what happens today, because we set a bar and then the bar doesn't stay. Mr. Poole mentioned it.
Right.
Somebody got $50,000 for the 50th anniversary, then you're going back.
And then you're going back to the
If you have a properly organized funding grouping, you will be able to come up with a steady structure of fees. And one of the things I want to raise a bit later is the whole thing of the looking into the possibility of an insurance fund for boat racing. If we are really talking boat racing now and going into the future, we have to step up our game. We have an amazing craft here, open hull, which international sailors can't see how it operates. Awesome. We now must actually develop that, and by developing that, I'm saying we have to offer more incentive. That is something I think
so?
all you might have to come back, or some of all you.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think it's something you can run from. It's like a drug addict. You know, Macri dead and gone. You call him the shop fly. It's like the shop fly. You never hear Macri the shop fly. Of course, I wouldn't have no problem, Mr. Hodge, Mr. Cool, putting my 2 input, help push the wagon forward. But like I said, what bothers me the most, seeing that it's your national sport. Now you hear we got Carnival for 50 years. Who ain't want to get a Jeep? And who ain't want to get this? And that's all good. But we got 20 to 25 guys in one boat, so we can't give them no vehicle. No, that's obsolete. But we could give them the value of something. You make it exciting, make them go and work and get something and be rewarded all, just not the winning boat. Now, the problem I had with the 50-year boat racing problem, Mr. Cool, Mr. Hodge, gentlemen, was that the prize went to one boat. It took 10, 12 boats to make it that day. So it should have been that 50,000 divided, everybody get a piece of the cake. Right. And then there was the prize on the side. That's the way I think it should have gone. Had I had my say, it would have been divided by equally among because everyone partake that day. And going around Angola ain't no walk in the park. I never pick salt in a burn your eye. That would burn your eye all day. So, but Mr. Hodge, Mr. Cool, gentlemen, yes, the government need to play that role. And one, we got that concept that is our national sport. You got to treat it like respect it. 2, get the youths involved. It's gonna be profitable for you.
Just a second. What I have observed with boat racing is that what I see presently is that it looked like each individual boat now are sponsored by our hotels. I don't know what is sponsored, whether the sponsor just the sail. But when I go to boat racing, I see these huge sails in the air with
Hotel branding.
hotel branding on it. And as Mr. Koo said just now, and Mr. Hodge, financing, I think that what is wrong with boat racing is probably the structure, how you go out to solicit sponsorship.
funds.
Because if each boat go individually as opposed to the body of boat racing, maybe then you could get more funds for the sport. I don't know how you gentlemen think, and I don't know who wants to
Well,
talk on that, because
Romney said earlier, a sail cost between $5,000 to $8,000 on each night. Right, and most of the boats that got I don't know, the hotel might do something to help them, but most of the sails, that's what they do. They buy the sail and they put the name on the sail and say get it as a sponsor. And that the hotel play an integral part in that. Like for instance, you take Nishan. My sail is a Davida. And there's reasons why I went to Davida.
right.
And my reason for Davida is from Crocus Bay. And I'm a village man. And that brings back a lot of things to my mind when you say that, because you hear Hard say how he grew up in Crocus Bay and how around the island race gets started. That race gets started through the people in Crocus Bay, and we all minds get together and we say, listen, we don't want only a race, we want something that's going to stand out for years to come. And I feel proud. If I die now, I got nothing to worry about. No, I'm very serious. I'm very serious, because that race started in 1982. The Shan won it that year, but that was not it. But how it gets started? We had fellas like Kelsick, Lil Sam, Julia, the Carters from Narside, what's your name down here? Anita, and all of us got together and we decided we're going to do this race. And I mean, you have cleanup. We call it cleanup. Ashley Carter. All those guys, we got together and we said, we got to put this on. And we put that race on. Let me tell you something. That race started in my house. But the way, we call it stickativity. I mean, it was just, yes, it was just there, and bonded Collins Richardson to Collins Richardson from Garfield. And man, we had that race going, and today, in 1982, and today is 2024, and it's very ironic too that you been talking about this on the eve.
That's why you didn't get notification, because it just was ironic.
Look at now you have sharing now. Look at now you have sharing.
Imagine you all invite me here, knows nothing what I'm going to talk about. I mean, Rafa just tell me, Harris, you got to come. And only because wherever I am, when it comes to boat racing, I could call here at any given moment. And he decide, well, listen, this is going to happen. Man, if you had to give me much time to get it done.
We might get another episode.
But when it comes to boat racing, I really got a vast knowledge. You know, thank God. I mean, I've been into boat racing and that, but we need, and Paul touched about it, and Hodge touched about it, we need government to put more into boat racing. I don't know what is the prizes for this season coming up. I don't know what's the prizes.
It gotta be 50.
No. But what
much years is boat racing though?
Huh?
Much years is boat racing?
It's about 50. On the years in 2019.
When it was 50, right?
Yes.
So we got 19 now is 25. So
you
about 59 and 55.
Now, and from looking at it, I haven't spoken to any member of the committee. If they got a question they ask me, I would give them my.
Yeah, I have a question here that kind of touch on what you're saying. It says boat race is now intertwined with all the local festivals and beach parties. How is it contributing to our economy.
That is
Yeah.
one thing. Mr. Cool, you got to take that hard. You go back to the reef. That is something that touch a nerve,
Yeah.
I see how you laugh.
right?
I read it.
When you tell me about that beach party in the boat race, it touched a nerve because the beach party came about because of boat race.
Of course.
There was not song always jamming up in John O Place. The boats parked and gone, and that jam
John
continued.
Benjamin was the one who
All of that
did all of that.
confusion. When I was chairman, there was always a wrangle between the carnival committee chairman and the boat race committee. It got to a point one year where the carties, you know that line where you said,
Yeah,
pile up the
yes,
heap
yeah.
of salt?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember them
We'd like
days.
to be lounge me right now.
Thank you.
Use the stage now.
Fine, they use the stage. Those folks give us that land for the week.
That's right.
I think Vanya Harrigan was the chairman. And we said to him, no, we want $250,000 for that. Because the boats, they were always underpaid. Always. The cost was always. And it grew into one big thing because we wasn't giving them permission to set up their stage. And I hell bent, I ain't gonna bend to you because I don't think the boat racers would be treated fairly. And that went on. So whenever you talk about that, yes,
Yes.
the drives will screw up me because
But that's what
it ain't right.
Hutch, Hutch,
You know.
you're correct. I mean,
Romney. Paul, yeah.
Paul, you are right because I'm saying is they're saying that carnival could go on. Stop the boat just to see what the hell happened. Stop it.
I would sanction that now.
Huh? If you
None of us are here, so you have to be very careful.
I agree, Mr. Hart, but you gotta
Go
throw.
on at a lower stage, but it wouldn't go.
But like y'all say,
Wouldn't
y'all haven't met with the
no
committee
not
yet.
you are. I'm not that I am
We
not
just speaking our mind.
Yeah,
I
I
am
understand
not
that.
going to get involved in
Yeah.
the committee stages.
They are influential, you know, they were.
Yeah, right, yeah. So you're right, you know. So maybe we'll see the prices this year up a notch.
Well, I'll tell you what.
What?
I would be willing to come back after I found out what the prices are
And
for
see if
this
you're,
year.
and see if you're
And,
happy.
okay, and see what happens, and I will give you my feeling after I talk with the boat racing committee. Anytime
You come
Because, if I will,
Okay.
like I said,
You schedule.
when it comes to
We don't come back.
What we
I
can
guess
have
that's
that
continue, you know.
with us. We can bring the
Yeah.
roadways
I mean,
Awesome.
If we bring some captains too.
huh?
I think
Some
you
captains.
should probably have that kind of session, bringing a couple of the captains.
Yeah, too.
Or bringing the committee.
Yeah.
Then you'll understand the drug infestation
Is
you
it? Oh Lord!
because it would go from one little bump and it's gonna explode. You're gonna like change. It would have a change on changes. So, but the mere fact, right? I must say this: it's our national sport. We need to get the young people involved, and we need the support from the government. If the committee has the backing from the government, we can move mountains because you have the government behind you. But if you're only out there on your own, and some government officials or ministers, whatever they want to call, they are not giving you that push and support, you're in trouble. Two, to import a mask, jib, say the amount of crap you go through with customs, the amount of letter, the amount of and all you do is if you put that seal down in a poplar in a bad
Don't be
spot,
wave.
wave now, but there's a lot of
but still
mountains to
the
climb.
paperwork you got to go through.
It's sad.
It really gets you annoyed.
It's
I mean,
sad.
oh, you can't make no money from boat racing.
There's nothing in boat race for
There's
you,
not.
but it's just the hype and the fun, the argument.
And the arguments and the heckle and the bragging rights. Bragging
Braggadocious.
rights, the braggadocious that you get from it, you know. Like I say, this is around the island race. Everybody is geared up for this, and every boat is looking for that particular thing. I got 8 times in it already. I know what it is. Pa just coming.
Baby twin. And also, right, what bothers me here today, despite that we get to 50 years of boat racing around the island, being
Yes.
X amount, there's no wall indicating whether the Shan won it once, Asha won it 7 times, or the Wizard ever won it.
So we need an Akai office.
Okay, but we should not be here talking about that. That should have been long
Long
gone.
time.
already.
That should have been. Now you build this whole new entity here, fine, I agree with it. But somewhere along that wall should have a history. Whether McOwen, Elliot Carter was racing for
Exactly.
whatever they were racing, a chicken leg in Santa Ground on August Monday.
No, a goat.
A goat? No, August Thursday was the soup.
Okay.
Down in the dance hall. I was a little boy because you can't go in the dance hall. Maliahana's there today. Now, all of those things is history. We should not be here today trying to dig it up. It should be already out there.
Yeah.
It's just basic coca plums. The biggest burger you get is August Thursday. You don't even see them no more.
You don't have burgers.
But you being here now, you sharing a wall of knowledge, and this knowledge will be documented. So
Well, that's
now
true.
we doing our part by have the document.
Thank you.
The knowledge
I appreciate it.
is documented
Somewhere to
but,
here,
where
but
it
where?
is.
And
But they should have a car office though for boat race though.
Well,
Everything like only that car
we have
office.
a boat racing committee. They are the ones who should push that sort of thing.
Solid.
I think we name committees in Angola, but we want to name committees to dish out money.
Mono.
We
Yeah.
Not
don't-
working commission.
Not working.
Exactly.
That's what we have
We're going
to
to touch
start
a bit
getting
now on
people to do.
fundraising.
When you name a committee in Angola, the head of the committee works, and maybe the secretary.
But the tail doesn't wag.
We've
The
been a
tail
part of
doesn't wag
committees
at all.
that has done that too. We've been a part of committees there.
Mm.
Only 2 persons show
But
up to
Paul knows
fundraising.
about that.
So we
Yeah,
have
that's
touched on the fundraising aspect of boat racing now.
Mm.
I don't know who we are just, I'm lost track of where we at. So who
You
want to start first?
how's the fundraising?
Fundraising,
in boat
boy.
racing
One time we tried.
managed
No.
and how it used to be. So we're gonna talk about how it used to be to up to today.
Well, again, majority of the head works, the tail wags, but stops. We tried a boot couple times, but who's gonna work for you in the boot? You know, it's dead. You try a raffle here and there, who's gonna buy the tickets? Everybody talks, but nobody spends. So that fundraising effort really don't work. What would have been good if you could get a license hodge or something to have some kind of gambling concept attached to it.
Well,
I think I have that
I've
somewhere
tried
about
to push
injections.
it for years.
Yes, it never.
And I think we should have some sort of lottery. How they do horse racing.
Yeah,
Mm, right.
thank you.
Apportion
Right.
to the boards, the administration.
That's a good
the
idea.
government.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, we have the hillside favorite people.
Great arena.
Do not contribute a cent.
No.
We have all around the island where no money comes in.
Yep.
So if we could come up with a system whereby you bet into it, that would be a sure source of money.
I guess
So what do you think are the hurdles when you say you've tried it a couple years?
We've
What
talked
talk
about
about it, but you never.
You know, it comes under the sort of gambling act. So
Acts, yeah.
you're going to have to get government position. You're going to have to get people who are
Legal
You
side
see how
of it.
Mr. Cool and so Paul are talking about their gut feeling about certain things. We need that sort of passion. We need money. We know we have boat racing. And Williams will kill you for boat racing, whether there is money for prizes or not.
Not.
But now I think it's like cricket. Cricket first was a sport. But cricket is no sport any longer.
No.
Cricket is a business. Everybody in cricket makes money.
Money.
And to put 20 to 25 or 26 people, as you said, in a boat, getting $0 when they would have given up their day's
Day's
pay.
work, yeah.
It's not only days, they're all over
August week.
every
Oh,
August week. And that doesn't go down very well. So I think we have to sit down and come up with some innovative thing and start working towards it.
I guess the ministers listen to this program, so we're gonna have somebody gonna call somebody and talk to somebody about get this thing.
So the person that vendor at a boat race doesn't contribute.
Well,
how does that?
when with my tenure, they pay into us, but you got Class A, the big boats, and you got Class B. No one really sponsors the Class B. Now I want you to think about it. It's a bit right. It was first $500 per day for food and $300. I said, but technically 20 guys can't be feed out of that type of money.
$500.
So we try to get it up to 1,000. Bit too high for us, so we got it to 6. Now 600 EC to share for 20 guys, and
Can't walk.
I don't know what calculator we can use. So I know.
There's no.
So this is present.
I don't know what the figures are now. I don't know how much money they got in their kitty. So the problem I was faced with, you had the B class had no sponsorship, no prize. So you had to take the money now from the vendor's boot,
To give them a prize.
put them in, and then you had to rob some from the A class to finish off, pay the B for the food money. So if it leaves from 300 to 6, we get it to 1,000, but you barely skip through. The only thing can help you a day or two if one boat doesn't show up to race. So you kind of ease that one back, but you paid out the other day.
Because what Paul is saying, when you put an A-class boat in the water, you got to figure yourself $500 dead. Am I right, Paul?
500 US?
I mean, yeah, 500 US.
If you check a trailer,
Yeah.
the cost of the drinks, because they're setting the boat up for 2-3 days.
$500.
So,
And daily for food, for the food on the Shan, I spent, think about 12 times, and that's a break, 12 times 25 or 12 times 20 from the up. I tell you, would give you the figure there. The drinks alone, and I've been doing that from 19. I've been doing that from the time I owned the Shan. And yes, anybody who have stayed in the Shan, I've never let them be hungry at one day yet. I always had a caterer. Always had a caterer. Like when I was married, oh God, Shan is here. My daughter's here. Her mother used to say, before he buy me a dress, he'll go buy a sail and take care of the boat because they love the boat and they heart the boat. So I could do anything and get away with it. But the food in the boat for those type of men, you got to be able to come up with money to take care of the boat, and you take it out of your pocket.
Well, you gotta pay for your popularity.
yeah. But now, the other day, they had a race there the other day that I think the South Hill Committee took up to Sandy Hill. Now, on that day, I think the price, what the guy said to me, was $1,200.
No, that's a fact.
Right. Now, the Shan lost the jib. The
$4,000.
Sonic pop a mass. The real deal.
And the jib.
And when you calculate the damages on that day, what is $1,200?
Listen,
do.
every boat got damaged.
So,
It's not
you-
about insurance.
Paul,
right.
Paul, you are sorry you raised that because I just get angry about that race particular. Because the guys, the organizer of that particular race, knew the weather was bad. They were told that in the afternoon it's going to be worse. If you come up to that and you see that from the time we got around on the south side, you had wind the first time, and listen, like I told you, I've been involved in this thing from all these years. And the first time in my life I ever seen wind blowing furiously from the northeast and the southeast at one time, furiously. And there's no maybe about it. You had winds up to 25 knots. And to me, the organizers of that particular race never used their discretion. The boat people never used their discretion. It's 25 with lives in the boat.
Yeah,
25,
I have a question on that too. Not to cut you off, but who organized whether they should have a boat race or not? Like, is there a structure in place in terms of the equipment, the men, the lives of persons on board? Does all that take into consideration to a committee that decide if you should have the wind speed?
The boat racing
committee.
There's a wind factor involved.
Remember that morning, the wind was just about 15 knots. Very good sailing.
So it developed.
But if you check the weather channel to tell you, it will progressively get worse. When we got around on the south side up to Malhana and seen that the wind was so bad, they should have gone as far as Blowing Point and turned back. Remember, every boat got damaged. Every boat, don't care which. I give the
Wizard.
All praise and everything for that particular reason. I should sail it. But all the boats got, even the Wizard had problems on the jib. She had problems on something else. The Lightning Piece had it. Every boat got damaged.
Well, my position in all of this is that there are too many cooks in the kitchen. We have a boat racing committee. The boat racing committee should have the leave to actually make decisions. 5-6 groupings going and try to persuade the boat racing committee. The poor people are confused. We should name a committee, leave the committee run. Now, I have some terrible problems with that. You go out to a race. The boat racing committee appoints a ward. They appoint somebody to put down the stake.
The stakes.
But still people want to direct them. It can't work that way. We have to sit down as a boat racing committee, decide where the stake man, where they'll put down the stake. You have your rules, and that's another thing you would know. Boat racing got in trouble several times because nobody's following the rules. There are rules there.
Lawless.
And they are not following them. Some people believe that they are bigger than the rules, and some people believe they are bigger than the boat racing committee. So we have a problem with that.
Who made the rule? Who made the rules for the boats? That is Angola boat race is a unique sport. Who made that rules?
No, the rules was instrumental by most of the boat owners and captains and the boat racing committee. When Paul was there, Paul upgraded
a handbook, right?
There was a upgraded the thing that what he meant to, and he did a good job on that.
So is documented in a book?
Yes.
Yeah,
Since then the boat racing committee upgraded what Paul upgraded. So I do not know where.
And up to now, I haven't seen anything that they have done to say, well, this is what we have done. But
I guess you will see it now.
huh?
I guess you will see it now.
I don't know.
You want to see it now after this conversation?
Well, I hope so because when I was there, we created a little book and we give it out to every boat captain, crew, whoever.
That's right.
And whenever there's an incident, you go back to this one point.
That's right.
That's all right. This is what we're going by. And that was the law, but today I don't know. But my biggest problem got, and I'm very scared of, it only takes one accident, incident, and the police will be knocking on somebody's door saying you need to come to the station to give account as to what happened. That I don't want to see. That is not nice.
But then we need to get back to a topic that Ms. Hodge was talking about, which is insurance.
Insurance
I
can stop
don't
an
think
accident.
after
That's
the
our
incident and someone quote unquote happens to get drunk, I don't think no insurance company.
So what happens to your mind that you think such a thing? Just give me one idea of what can happen that you see
Well,
I hear about as a past chairperson that
there's
you're scared about.
A rule.
A rule that called hardly.
I heard about that. Yes.
Good.
Like, I was on
Now
accidents of
what is the perfect braking distance? The boat is 28 feet, but the boom hangs another 10, 12, 15 feet outside. So I think we need to corroborate the length of the boat and the boat out. And we say, look, double that and you need to brake. But who got a tape in between there? Nobody. There was an incident one time, I think, with the Shen and the Superstar finishing at Sand Ground. The lick that those boats hit, you heard it up on the bayside and you figure it was atomic bomb.
That's a fact.
Boat rolling up on the side, people in the water, a lot of things could have gone wrong.
Nobody didn't get damaged.
No. But it was a big argument after who right, who wrong.
Right.
So the only solution then was, hey, both y'all guilty. Because somebody's going to say who's been what, somebody's going to be leeward, but hey, somebody could have been killed.
So in terms of an incident of such, what is the penalties based on the rules?
Oh,
If you drawing somebody, two boats guilty, what is the penalties?
well, that's the issue. The warden would have to make that decision. I think there was some years ago again, Mr. Cool and Mr. Hart, gentlemen, with the UFO and the Sonic. The warden disqualified the Sonic, which I think was wrong, because both parties involved. If you want to make that decision, then you wait until it gets to shore, have a meeting, and then you cry foul. But you can't say, hey, you wrong. Well, who's you to make the decision that it was wrong? And both boats were heading basically in the direction. There wasn't a hardly. They rest on each other. Hey, you're in a juve, you shouldn't get robbed, right?
Right, but it's
But
a possibility. It's gonna be wrong.
Thank you. So, but you don't disqualify one boat.
Yeah, do both.
You have to do both. And if you got problem doing both, don't do none. Just let it be. So up to today, I don't know what transpired out of that, but for me, in my view, you just let that be. Had there been a hardly, hey, automatically 2 hours ago, cause what was the right braking distance? You know you're supposed to brake. But if you come and hit, then hey, I don't want to argue with you, Mr. Cool, about it. You don't want to argue with me, because we both know we should not touch each other.
Yes, sir.
End the story.
So, Mr. Harris,
Yes.
what's your view about that?
The rules,
The rule.
the rules say clearly. Any boat, if once one boat is in danger, you cannot force a boat into danger and into danger and taking a hard lead. It's clearly defined in what he's saying about the Hartley rule, and people got to understand the captains of them got to understand you got to take your Hartleys, because the Hartley is a very integral part in our boat racing, right? If you're racing internationally, you're gonna say
Give way.
the port boat got
Right.
Right.
and so you know that, so you got to pull away and allow
Allow that boat to
this
go.
to happen. But now you say Hartley's is like a fun section in boat racing.
That's the official part, Mr. Cool and Paul. If all you have to give a personal decision, whether all you agree to retain the Hartley or give up the Hartley.
No,
Taking the sport out of
no, you can't do. No, we gotta keep the Hartley. The Hartley is we. This is
That's
us.
right. This Anguilla.
No, no, no,
I
no.
was only asking for
No, but to get the answer, no, no, no. You can't give
You
up
see
the
a passion on
Hartley.
beat? Just remember that? You see a passion on beat? It doesn't say either about boat racing. Boat racing is a passion sport.
It is.
Yeah, so you see how they just kick up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to take it out?
No, you can't do
No,
that.
no. He
Ah, no, you know, so just make
Listen, the
it.
man want to take the dumplings out of the suck. Oh yes, no, you can't take the dumplings out of the suck.
Is
a security.
security
Right.
measure for any part of the race,
Race.
or just the
In the pot.
leading boat?
in the
No, in the pot.
In
The
the pot.
last two
Once
boats.
two boats from no boat supposed to touch.
It's hardly. It's applied to the race.
Hardly,
Neither of all
in
you
the
have
position.
captain the boat.
No,
Neither of all you have captain the boat.
no.
But do you believe that the Hartley should be tampered with and adjusting it even a bit? Boats travel very fast now.
No,
Some
but
years,
moving
some
fast.
years,
The-
some years ago.
fast.
The rule states you got to be a certain amount of feet away to call the hot.
What's the feet?
No,
What
no,
about-
that's the thing.
100 or 200 feet. I can't remember.
That's the point. I can say that we are 200 feet, X amount of yards. What happened if I slacken up and go under your boat?
That's, I was going to ask it.
So,
What about faking a Hartley?
well, I'll draw. I can draw under you and stand and go back up on the wind. So what then do you do?
Okay, there's another.
'Cause I didn't
there's
impede
another
you,
thing that
I
I
didn't
believe
hinder
could
you.
fix that, but again, like y'all are talking about funding,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this could be done. There are mechanisms you could probably put on the boats that could signal who comes within that distance to probably go off some of the boat
that
race
is the
and
reason
technology.
why. That's the reason why you got
Again,
the ones. The ones determine, or the ones should determine who had the right to that.
Well, it sounds like the
and-
warden
and-
is a
and-
guy on a
I mean,
boat.
yeah,
Or
of course.
people on a boat
Yes.
are guys on boat, right?
yes.
But
on
as
a
far as
speedboat.
saying he does not have the tape or the measurements, so it's from his
View. His
View,
eyes.
that one got the authority to make certain decisions, and if a decision is controversial, you go to a tribunal.
right,
Exactly.
which is all human again.
So again,
But upon
I see what you're
watching-
saying,
upon
right.
watching things like cricket, when an umpire is out on the field and he call a play, he relies on the
camera.
camera
Yeah.
to sometimes give him an accurate
Yeah, yeah.
thing. So my thing would be like it has mechanism that can make sounds to alarm the first boat that comes into that
That you like 50
space.
feet. You're 50 feet.
and then gives you that will
That's
give you
technically you're right, you know, but it comes with costs.
Yeah,
Then
that's what I
you're
said, that's
dealing
what I
with,
said
with
before.
seawater and you're dealing with signals. I
Yes.
mean, so we need to have a main box somewhere to record
right.
your
All this will
position,
be
like
back
a
on
GPS.
show for with the
Right.
warden to help the
So-
warden now to make his
You know,
decision
true.
because we're dealing with faster boats now, as he said.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and that accident or incident is just on the verge of happening if the captains them don't
adhere to
adhere to those
To the
rules.
rules, right.
And we know boat racing could be such a bragging right thing that nobody wanted to give up that and song. I would say just I would use the word soft. That you back off and let this other
No.
board win when it comes show.
Because the
soft
next
captain
day out,
use this.
right, somebody's gonna cut somebody in two. Whether you had, Dundee, your chicks and them, you're battling people going up at an harbor 1 year. That ain't nice.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't want that.
The police. I was on the police boat.
Yeah, that was for real.
Yeah.
I was on the police. I was on the police boat.
That was
The
for
police
real.
had to go in between. Harrigan, it was Harrigan. Commissioner Harrigan had to dissect the boats, go in between them, and
To keep
dissect
them-
them to keep them apart from
warring.
Because there's actual
That's
walk.
right.
Way in
Actual
28
walk.
feet, you could actually run. Well, 18 feet.
So what?
And you know.
Well, you remember?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's
was-
not good for the sport.
Well, today we use lead, so we don't have shingles. But if you get a heated argument and someone hits you in your temple or rock, who's really guilty? Yeah, it's so.
One of the things, Paula, in Mr. Cool, I think we gotta ensure wherever we go at boat racing, we have to keep it clean.
Yeah.
Well, you can only. This is where the committee need to get together and talk to the captains more and let the captains know what to expect, what they expect of them. Like, let's say, for instance, the last race there, and I agree with the motor racing committee. The Shannon Racing, she did everything. She come fifth, but one of the guys got angry. He jumped overboard, disqualified.
Yeah.
I agree with him. The rule stated.
Yeah. Because
What it is?
And-
What
and they're right.
what's the
Jump
rule?
overboard.
What's the rule? If you
If you jump over,
listen, you leave.
With
You run an
50
airplane with 50 people. You come with Father Nine. Somebody asks you a question, right? Okay, good. You leave at 20, 25. When that boat hit the water, the shoreline, you do what you want.
Yeah.
But as long as you on that race
the
course,
ceiling.
you continue with
But
that.
you had a time in boat racing, like you could have thrown.
Yeah, that was those days, but
Yeah,
now
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
no.
partner,
You
you,
throw
you can
sand.
throw sand, but you cannot take on sand.
You know,
Right, you could throw lead too.
Yes, you could
you
throw
could try,
the
but
boat.
you make sure. Well, I don't know if you're gonna find it. But
Yeah, right.
one day the guys were setting up these boats on the ground, and there was a hell of a shark
Yeah,
in the harbor.
that was last year, boy.
Yeah, a big shark.
Oh
How
God,
big the shark was?
a giant.
A big shark.
Yeah,
A big
I'll
shark.
bring to the show.
Now picture
Oh,
you
sharks.
jump overboard and you just happen to.
Run into the shop.
Okay.
A real
Something
giant
happened.
lots of turtles were running, right?
Oh, you was there. You was there. Yeah.
Right. So, but you don't know. You don't want to find out for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So you can't actually jump over.
You know, when you reach shore, then yeah.
disqualified.
Thank you.
Yes, because remember, your life is at stake.
Steve. And the captain is responsible for you.
For all of that, and even though he got no control of you, but you got able to be sensible enough to
Yeah.
to understand these things.
So after you go through the stakes,
You
you
can
get
do
to
what you
you
want.
go you want.
So
But
is there,
don't-
is there a set amount of men that is needed for a boat?
Well-
Who determine? No.
goes by weight.
So is there some way you write down, register how much men
Well,
you're leaving with? Who?
one time we tried that, but today you show up, but you don't show tomorrow. So we
Okay.
have to be every day logging. So you
Oh,
kind
so
of the
somebody
owners,
log how much-
but the captain has to be on. He has to be very mindful of who, where, what, and why.
So the captain is the one that gives the accountability of how many
Yes,
men he leave it and come back in. with?
Yes.
So what if he say leave at 17 and he come back with and then he say he say before the race
Well,
when
he
is the
should
question
know how
asked?
much he leaves. He leaves with 20, he come back with 19.
So you come back to 21.
No, you can't.
You can't-
I'm just saying.
Well, again,
No, but I
This
want to
whole
know like so
come back at 21, yeah,
Yeah.
you're alive. But if you come back with 19,
somebody's missing.
somebody's missing.
So
No,
so
but-
before
but-
the
but-
races
I
start,
think-
you do a log or something of how
With
many
it,
men
I think
in each
the,
boat.
the rules state
Should be.
you can pick up someone that follows.
Right.
And
It's all good, you know, Mr. Cool,
Yeah.
as long you're alive.
Yes.
The problem comes when you're not.
exactly.
That's why we're running for.
Exactly.
I don't mind you being alive. That's cool.
Yeah, you'll have to give
Yeah.
what
You can
happened.
pick up a
Account
guy
of what
that follow
happened.
I think
I-
Roy's question probably the most
But
important question.
but my
Yeah.
question is
Who knows
how
who's
many men
registered
are
on that
leaving?
date? Right.
Yeah, because this song like I could just come down. At one time I went to San Diego to see how the races started and I saw them there doing them thing and I didn't see anybody
Taking account.
taking an account thing.
No.
So when you said that just now I was like, how do you know that the boat lead with 20?
20, yeah.
Captain could
The
come.
captain.
The captain know he's winning. He's in the lead, but he got 19, and he said he left with 19.
That's true.
Well,
He get disqualified.
as
How
a
get
owner,
disqualified then?
No, he says about to jump
Jump
out.
or bump
there.
jump out before-
But I talking now.
before he finished the race.
leaving and coming.
So it was
With-
visual.
with-
yeah.
Visual?
Yeah.
So that is
Which makes sense, you know.
Well-
there should be an account.
mhm.
of course.
But if you go to try your boat and you realize, boy, I'm short of 2 men up on the side. Hey, Roy, come. I need an extra man. Okay, I'm coming.
Yeah, you need. It's,
Yeah, it's
It's-
a process.
it's-
I know, but
It's
no,
a
it's
process.
5 minutes prior to the race
Exactly.
after you send in the list.
Okay, 5 minutes.
So 5 minutes.
But see, there's a little something going on there.
So
I
you.
mean, he said 5 minutes. He mean people.
But
get
no,
on
I
the
wouldn't
boat
know that
now.
you
He wouldn't
get-
know that I put the 2 people on. I need them. That's what he's
Okay,
saying.
So,
So,
instead of 20 that I
I got
registered,
now
I'm end up
22.
with 21 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
But who's there to check when you come back?
Yeah, I got
Because there's some other boats still behind us, Sandy.
Yeah.
None of us know.
So how? So who?
Yeah.
So when the boat
it's
race start,
captain.
when the boat race start, it just the firearm bust the shot in the air and then the boat just start,
horn,
right?
yeah.
The horn.
Yeah.
So nobody don't go wrong. Nobody don't go wrong. Check the,
No.
inspect the boats or nothing. Maybe we gotta get that start out.
that no.
No,
wait,
if-
wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're touching on a part that I never want to get into.
Why?
But no, that's
I mean. Here you got. You're supposed to have a safety
Mechanism.
mechanism, and the boat racing committee and the government should provide a security boat in case of emergency. But remember, of late there was no security. No, it's not a joke, partner.
No, I know.
I've been very hyped up when and the boat that they got is called a security boat. Gonna say they are not there to
Pick
pick up people.
rescue.
You got to be on your gut, pick a mind. You gonna you here it is, your lives at stake, and you gonna tell me you're not gonna do that? I mean, they're out of place, and this is where the boat race committee need to talk up, get things together. If there's not security, don't send the people.
Now I
Don't send
remember
the list.
for August week, you get the police to man the beach. You had to feed the police
Yes,
As
no,
a boat race.
as a boat. You had to find food. So what you do on a regular patrol?
In normal in recent programs, I'm
I
hearing a
know,
lot
but
about the
no,
police,
you had to feed them.
the police and organizations, and
Mm.
I'm wondering where is the connection with our police force and organization, because I'm hearing about a lot of committees complaining about the police
Police,
actual
yeah.
services that you want that should be a part of the policing, and services that you're asking for in terms of
Okay,
payment and have to pay
right.
them off.
That's the thing.
Feed them off.
now
do
you imagine the
something.
committee don't have that type of money in their budget to take care of that. Okay, now you got 10, 12 boats. Something should happen to one of those boats. Who's actually going to that boat?
That's it.
It comes with fuel. It comes with me getting your boat. You don't want to give up the race, so 20 people suffer. You just go adrift.
Well, we have not only the police, we have a fire and rescue.
Well, that's the only boat I see out there, the orange boat.
Yeah.
That's the only boat I
Oh, that's the
see.
police.
There wasn't-
The police ain't got a boat. Police got a boat.
Why the boat? Why adding them to do? Then why adding them to do?
Fire rescue.
Fire and rescue
Yeah.
is what the police
but
use.
fire and rescue was not
Okay.
participating in anything for the
a long
lashes
time.
that I've seen.
So they probably, I don't know.
And this lashes, yes, but I mean,
But it comes with a cost though, Mr. Cool. So, this is what I'm saying. So the sport, despite the halls is one
National-
thing.
so why should
National-
But that should be taken care by the government.
Exactly, national.
National, like you saying.
National
And
is
this
a
is
war.
where this is
This is
where
why-
understand
I understand
where
what you're
you're
saying.
coming from.
and let's so, like you said earlier, if a disaster should happen,
Which you
then you
going
can
to-
say this and that. If this is your national sport, take care of it.
Well, once it's national, some national special.
Special purpose.
Yes.
Especially from our
And
services.
these boats should not
services like
start unless you got
Yeah.
a security. They shouldn't,
So get a check.
because your lives are at stake.
That's my biggest concern.
No, partner,
biggest
you got me along with you.
Yeah,
You got me along with you.
Well, this program, I know people are listening to this program, so Look out for somebody to come and contact you guys.
Well, take it
shortly. Look out for it.
The present committee.
We'll be watching this program and hearing your point of views. So somebody we can contact you shortly. Look out for it, like I said. And then y'all could
we just got a call and someone say, I must talk about Mops and Uncle Willie race. Mops and Uncle Willie, that's a race
that
we
was a
started.
race that
That's a race that started around the island.
Yeah.
That started from around the island, Crocus Bay. And we talk about the group of guys, the people, we indicated that. That the people who got involved in that. I know, Mops and Uncle Willie was, you know, the house, the right across from the school.
Above the library.
Right.
Above the library.
Right. That they own that where the natural koi is.
Yes, the
They
insurance
own that
place,
house.
yeah.
And he was my great uncle. And so his wife's name was Momsen. And that's the reason why Momsen Uncle Willie, Momsen Uncle Willie was one who put on the first around the island race. And up to now, Momsen Uncle Willie. So if I don't
it hasn't been named.
Huh?
No,
It's not what is the Anguilla, what the race?
The race has a
Anguilla
name
D.
around the island.
Anguilla
Anguilla
the wrong
D.
way.
Island
Boat race.
So there is a formal name
Yeah.
approved by executive council where Emil Guns is. I do not know. I cannot recall actually what the name is.
No.
The council had approved that. The Momsen Uncle Willie race used to go on at Crocus Bay, but for some reason it stopped.
Finances.
Well, no.
big struggle.
How that happened is Mr. Ronald Webster came to me and said, and God bless him. He said, "Cool." He said, "Harris, come here. You and I always got a bet. He's the bet on the Wasp, and I was a sham. We bet the malt every race, and I beat him most of the times. But I think you hear me now, but you understand. You can bring my mother that you owe me." But what I'm saying is, he said, Harris, it's hard for you all to find the money. And it's such a significant day. And he said, I think, this is what he told me. He said, give us the opportunity to let it fall under government. That government take the responsibility of Anguilla D. And I could see the logic. I could put an argument. I'm the one who put it all together. I mean, we are the ones who put it together. But I say, he said he's right. And that race, no race will ever come to touch around the island race.
Super Bowl.
Huh?
Super Bowl.
Thank you.
That's not Super Bowl.
People live for this.
But there's a race, I don't know, I follow boat race as a youngster and I know a little bit about it through my dad. The boat race, and correct me if I'm wrong, the boat race in Crocus Bay has a uniqueness to it. I love that.
Yes, it is.
And the reason why
Yeah,
they
yeah.
say
Tell me what
is
you-
because the way the bay shape. I
Wind.
think when you come in somewhere in Crocus Bay, the boats does do something. Something with the wind. And there was a particular race at time I was watching, and that race was so much fun because the boats were going backward, and it stayed there for a long time, just standing up inside of Crocus Bay.
You lose the wind at certain area times,
In
and
Crocus Bay.
the wind. Sometimes the wind blows from different angles.
Yeah, when with the hill.
Yeah,
I could remember that.
And different
And
angles, and some would get baffled. So I don't care. This was the interesting part when you talk about jumping off the back. I can remember it's right to the shore. The flag is about 10, 15, and you can't get to that flag.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
the guys
but-
jump off the back
And push the boat.
and automatically put the boat go forward to get to the snake.
Wow,
You know,
yeah, so that was-
Crocus Bay was a lot of sport, but again, it needed young people to take it over, man.
Yeah, I remember somebody
Ralph
asked
and
me
I too old for this
to
nonsense.
ask us to put the race on one time. Yeah.
Take on a race. What the cost be to take on a race though?
As we narrow down, we haven't
Hear
touched
this.
most of the questions
To
that
answer
we
your
had
question,
because
right?
freestyle.
Right, hear this. You want to put on a race. You got how many boats? 10 boats. Let's just look at the jib. Average 4,000. So let's say 40,000. What percentage of 40,000 do you want to sacrifice? Because we can lose all 10 jibs in that one day. That's just for the jib. I'm not here to banter about money, but money is what drives the sport.
Is a reality.
So if you're gonna race for $1,200 and lose a $4,000 jail
Well,
I understand.
and be last. So we need to get a balance.
But then
You give something for sportsmanship too, man. You gotta give something for sportsmanship too.
Yeah.
In our psyche, that giveaway element is done there already.
Yeah.
Because you cannot conjecture based on what you're saying is because if you have 6 of those boats go and you get national without $250,000,
Yeah.
somebody worked out the cost of a boat with a trailer. They had it worked out to the T. It was $80,000 US. I think the trailer was what 15. I think it's 70,000 for the boat without the trailer.
Trailer, yeah.
And 80,000 with the trailer.
Wow.
But
And
I-
all of this goes, you know, Ralph,
12 boats that we racing.
12, about that.
Right now we got about 12 active boats.
12.
For Angular Day, but I thought
Yeah.
Very possible.
based on the figures that not Angular Day, for August.
August.
So that's one class. You don't have those different class anymore.
Well,
That's just one
the
now.
B class, me personally, in my view, you take the B class enjoying the off season from boat racing, you take that and you sell it to the hotels. Look, let's say we give the hotels a package. We want at least 8 sailors for our 8 guests, paying us at least 80 to $100 a go around. You get a t-shirt, you get a chicken leg, you get a barbecue. You understand what we do? We barbecue this here, we throw the bay on it, you get a feel. But you go up and down the bay. Now at least the fellas that own that boat, they would own whatever that figure is for the day. Because it's $80 per person. You get your shirt, you get your barbecue leg, you get that. You get something from
You're
it.
saying this is you would want to do this like on a beach like Meads Bay,
Meads Bay.
where hotels.
Now, I
are.
think the perfect place is there by Garvey, seeing that the bay is enclosed, and
That
you
was
can
saying.
actually put a drone on it, put it on a big screen, and somebody's gonna be enthused by it, put it on YouTube and blow up, and it can leak from here to there. onto it. Then you get the big boat. Somebody might just want to come down and have a shindig with the biggest and baddest boat. Now you also can do a knockout tournament like basketball, 1 play 8. Now how the hell you gonna manage when a number 8 boat come and take the championship from the Wizard? That shouldn't be. Speed and Comfort take the championship. That wouldn't be right.
I
That'd be
think
upset.
somebody just had a race like a relay, and I was wondering how.
Right, but it's
how
on the
that
floor.
roll out.
So
I
that's
was
for boat.
wondering how they were gonna do that.
I really don't know how they work it out, but for me, it's too many boats just to have 4 boats. You need to include everybody because it's expenses on everybody.
I just did it on a village basis.
Oh, well, the village ram. Well, every boat got a village. Every boat.
Every village have a boat.
Every
More
boat, yeah.
than one.
Well,
We don't have one village, one boat for all villages.
the
Is
Shan? Well, if the Shan have to team up with the UFO to get it going.
How?
He's the owner of the Shannon is on the wrong board
How it become a second girl?
because he has no eligibility.
Wow.
You mean the tiller stick.
I'm not going to get into that because that'd be
Love it
too-
to be.
Well, gentlemen,
Right, honestly.
Down, give one. Yes.
Yeah, one more last thing.
I give everybody one.
I would support that every Anguillian come out, support the boats on Anguilla Day this year, 2024. And going forward, if you can get the youngsters involved with it, it would be a plus. At least we know the sport wouldn't die off. I remember Natsong being in the back of the public works truck. Speakers, generator, and musicians on a bumper edge road. So we come from that to 18 wheelers and whatever. Let's not lose what we have here today. That's just my take.
Okay.
Janae.
Closing
remarks.
I have a couple of ideas jotted down. One of the things I would like to see is the sailing school have a link with the boat racing
committee.
a direct link. I would also like to see we have a look somewhere in the future at the structure of the boats. We carry a boat now with a 40-foot boom and a 60-foot mast.
Mass, yeah.
Somewhere we must sit down and have a discussion. Nothing might come out of it, right? Fundraising is something we are
Key,
going to
need to
have
do.
because based on what Paul was saying, or based on what Mr. Cool was saying, I think funding is a very integral part. I cannot get into that sort of argument because I have to look at it objectively from both revenue and expenditure side. I would also like for us to have a vision for boat racing. Where will you want to see boat racing in the next 10 years more? And how do we really get there? And one of the most important things I would like to see is the involvement of youth and women in sport. There should be no way that we have the boat racing as our national sport and so few women involved. We need to be inclusive
As actual sailors.
in bringing
Bring them in
everyone.
as actual sailors.
Bring them
Sailors?
in as sailors.
You imagine a boat
Full of woman?
full of woman alone who makes the decision, and one man as a captain, he already sacrificed a rib,
You know, you got
more or less the helm stick.
to be able to jump in it. So you have to
Dominating that woman.
Mr. Cool, you seem to be the grandfather of this. Your last closing
Well-
remarks.
My closing remarks is that we got the Angular Day coming up, and what we need the nation and the people all over the world to do who can come and see Angular Day race. It's going to be very exciting because all the boats, all the boats are really participating, really going now. And who's going to be the winner is going to be interesting. And I want to applaud all the captains for the hardship that they've gone through for the past years. They went through a lot, and the owners in particular for the amount of money and finding the money to spend it is not that easy. And I'm hoping along the line that government in particular play a more integral part in the sport, because I'm very observant, and when my heart is in something, I look for every square inch of it. The need to put, if this is your national sport, show us that it's your national sport. And for security, I'm stressing on the committee itself. Do not send the lives of people over there without you got a security report, because it's ridiculous.
It's a real risk.
It's a real risk. I tell you, when I think back on with Monday race, on Easter Monday race, it brings tears to my eyes because it was bullied. And like I told them, if a race is not under the committee, don't call me to do the committee, because I am not going to be part of it. I want no part of it at all. Because if the boat racing committee is going to say it, then I'll be. But under nobody else, don't call me at all. Ralph Archer want to go, you go, but that race in particular, 6 hours I did the commentary on the race alone, and it's not that easy. But guys, I must say that y'all catch me with my pants down to come here this evening, and it's just that fluently I know boat racing, and I got quite knowledge, and I must say that thanks for inviting me, and not even Lloyd, who know me, who been around boat racing, called me, tell me nothing, and just Ralph Archer said, I want you to be here at the time. Don't have to make it.
We put Ralph Archer to be in charge of that.
That's the way life is.
Sometimes, not organized sometimes. Just like you talk about the boat racing. You talk about the boat racing going out just to fish and they came back in racing. So sometimes it's not how organized it is, it's about the knowledge that you would share, and it's about what comes at that time to be able to share. And what didn't come.
And you got a wall of knowledge.
Personal question?
Yeah, when you went to make a summer, you didn't know what you were going to
Yes.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for the conversation. Indeed, we gather much from this conversation. I'm sure our viewers are thrilled by your contribution and your reflections. Glad to
This should
have
have been an
you.
hour.
We
This
salute
should
you.
have been an hour.
Your impact have made us quite knowledgeable, and we are happy that we have this to be able to document for the future endeavors, and we wish to have you back again sometime, and with more committee members or more boat captains, and if owners are around, more of them, and have a wide roundtable discussion how to make our national sport better than it is. And going forward for youngsters and youths. So again, we say thank you for coming to Can You Remember?
You're giving your time.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, all you